Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Elev8 Project podcast. My name is Ryan, and this is season 2, episode number 6. And what we're going to be talking about today is creating consistency. So, creating content consistently. So, if you're a new creator or you're revitalizing a channel, creating content consistently can be a huge challenge or a roadblock to be successful. So, if it's your first time listening to the podcast, this is a podcast season 2 talking about revitalizing my YouTube channel, the Elev8 Project. And what I mean by that is I started my YouTube channel in 2019, 2020, and through its evolution, I did get monetized, got 1,000 subscribers, got 4,000 watch hours, and then I prioritize something a little bit different, which is my videography business, which grew and began from YouTube, which is absolutely great. And as I prioritized that, I stopped producing videos for the channel since 2023. Now, going into 2024, 2025, October of 2025, I made the decision to start revitalizing the channel. Actually, that's wrong. I thought about revitalizing the channel or starting a new channel in 2025. And in October, I started uploading new content to the channel and made the decision to revitalize the channel. And the reason being is the content that I want to create was the same kind of topic and niche, and wanted to take advantage of that so I can have my regular viewers that were still watching and connect my newer viewers into some content. Now, because of that, I created a strategy. So I believe that was maybe episode number 2 of season 2, talking about just a strategy. And my goal was to create more, and have the goal to get back up to 4,000 watch hours over a period of 365 days. And so my goal was to have one video release per week, something specific in the content creation or productivity or a tech review, camera review, or gear review. And I was going to do that through one video a week, a video podcast, which is the podcast that you're listening to right now, or if you're on YouTube watching right now. And third is live streams. So with content creation is where the Elev8 Project podcast is, where I'm talking behind the scenes, telling you what I'm doing and strategies and what's working and what's not. Live stream is more of a weekly update of what worked and what didn't work, an action plan to change for the upcoming week, and really take you on the back end of my analytics. And so creating consistently, man, if you watch my last episode, talk about workflows and systems. And one of the systems that I have is brainstorming. I think it's so important. As a newer creator, it's really easy to just pick something up and start recording and talking about what you enjoy. And there's a couple things that can happen. One, if you don't brainstorm even more, you run out of ideas. Number 2, you might get tired of talking about the same things over and over again. So then you lose interest in the actual niche. So how I kind of try to reduce that is to make my niche or my topics broad enough that capture all my interest. So when I'm talking about gear reviews or tech reviews, so for instance, my last video, we talked about the Rode Wireless Pro, and it is a product that I've been using for several years in my videography business, and something that I know will be great to have as a new content creator looking for a wireless mic and not necessarily something set up like a desktop mic or maybe even with a shotgun mic or anything like that. The Rode Wireless Pro comes with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, so you can have multiple people at the same time in your YouTube videos, and you can record directly into the camera. Versus what I'm doing now, I'm recording into my Rodecaster Duo, and I'm recording on my video camera, my Sony A7 IV, and syncing that in post. So those are the things that, and we think about content creation and productivity to get everything working in 24 hours. You only got 24 hours in a day. And someone that not only does YouTube videos and works a 9-to-5 job and also have a side business, it's very difficult to sometimes organize that in a way that it fits well. So how do I create consistently? One is planning. Really, I use Notion as my content calendar. I know I only have 2 to 3 days a week to really record my content and create my content, especially live streams. Live streams, I've kind of dedicated Saturday morning for that. This week, I am doing some spontaneous live streams just on different topics, and there's going to be one later in the night, maybe one in the middle of the day, and sometimes early in the morning. And so having a content calendar is really, really important. Now, when you think about how much work it takes in each of these videos, you would think that, doing these 3 types of videos, a live stream, a video podcast, and a video. So just for context, doing a video podcast when I record, if you take a look at the past episodes, are hovering between 30 to 40 minutes. And then live streams, they can be anywhere again from 15 to an hour, depending on how much engagement is in the live stream. And then I have a video that will range between 3 to 12 minutes long. I try not to go longer than 15 minutes just for attention span and making sure that I'm getting to the point when I'm coming into those videos. And funny enough, you would think that longer the video, the longer it takes to produce. And it's actually the video, my 3 to 15 minute video, that takes the most amount of time. And I'll tell you why. One, you come up with the idea, you have the title, and you start thinking about planning, how are you going to deliver that content? And camera shoots, if it's a topic that you're testing, outdoor testing, sometimes those can take a week or a couple months. And if it's a long-term review, that's 6 months that you're kind of going through. Now, again, the actual shooting, that takes a lot more time. And then the biggest amount of time is choosing what goes in the video or the final product. So video editing takes a lot of time. Now, when I'm doing the video podcast, because the focus of the podcast is audio first, and when I'm revitalizing the channel, I wanted to take advantage of the podcast feature. And so when I take a look at today versus 2021, for instance, or 2020, when I first started the channel, there wasn't this podcast feature. And then the podcast feature came, I think 2022. I did 1 season. So if you want to go back to season number 1, I started a podcast because I finally got monetized. And so I wanted to help beginner creators to get to 1,000 subscribers, and was just sharing the path and exactly what I did. So now we're in season 2, we're revitalizing the channel. And now podcast feature has been around for a while. So I wanted to ensure that I'm utilizing the YouTube features, because YouTube wants you to be successful. And if they're adding these features, I'm thinking that they're leaning towards to pull that content in front of the right people than people that don't use those features. The live stream, again, same sort of thing. But going back to the podcast is audio first. So the focus is audio, and the video is just giving you some visuals, but I'm not necessarily doing crazy edits and transitions and different camera angles. And so I'm really just hitting record. The real part of the editing is just syncing the audio with my camera, because right now I'm using my Shure SM7B connected to the Rodecaster Duo, recording the audio. And then I have my A7 IV that I'm filming right now, if you're on YouTube, with the 24mm GM lens. And then in post, I'm just syncing the audio. I'm editing the beginning, and then I'm editing the end, and pretty much that's it. And I'm uploading it to YouTube and to Spotify. So Spotify, what's nice is that they do accept video podcasts, which is great. I think that's a great medium. I think video is a great tool, especially in these long form type content. But back to how much editing I have to do, it's very, very minimal. Live streams, again, I'm hitting live and I could be there for an hour, let's just say, hour and a half. Again, depending on how engaged the people are viewing the content. But once the hour and a half is done, that's it. It posts and it's good. Literally no editing at all. I might do some post editing just if I had a 5-minute timer in the beginning, I'll cut it to 2 seconds. And if there's anything at the end, I'll kind of cut off and clean up the end of the playback. But again, not much effort after pressing record. So it's really the video that takes up a lot of my time. So again, I'm not doing 3 videos a week. I'm doing 3 pieces of content a week. Now, as I build up to the 4,000 hours, then I'm going to take a look at utilizing shorts. But right now, instead of using shorts, I'm going to be kind of utilizing live stream. So for creating content consistency, I have Saturday mornings dedicated to the live stream. Again, it's just 30 to 45 minutes out of my time. And it talks about my week to week progression of revitalizing the channel. It's really giving you a behind the scenes look, looking at my analytics, talking about the content I've created, what worked, what didn't work, and then my action plans for the next coming week. So what was really important from last week is that I released the video podcast a little bit later. Now, in my first episode of season 2, I talked about mindset and family time and really dedicating my family time and making sure that was sacred, meaning that I wouldn't spend till 2 o'clock in the morning to do my content and hit a 10 o'clock limit if I was doing content late. And so that is what happened. And then the live stream had some issues. And again, learning from my mistakes, putting out a schedule and then double checking that my audio is working and that my OBS is working and my Stream Deck is working. So again, it's learning from those mistakes. And then the video the video is something that is very strategic. So I have Sunday and Monday to really kind of record that content, dedicate 2 to 3 hours for filming and a dedicated 2 to 3 hours for video editing, making sure that I color grade, that I'm doing the edits, that I have the transitions that I want, making sure that I have anything on the screen that needs noting. For instance, when I did the Rode Wireless Pro review, making sure I had the correct specifications on screen, especially if maybe I said something wrong during the recording, then I have those corrections. And so that takes a lot of time. So again, that's why I wasn't willing to dedicate right now anyways, 2 to 3 videos per week in that fashion. The video podcast also helps me to be accountable, but how do I stay consistent with the video podcast? Well, with the video podcast, and again, just timing wise, I dedicate a couple hours a week to just sit down, think about my topic, and I'll tell you exactly what I did for season 2. I actually used Perplexity AI and ChatGPT and got ideas for 10 episodes. And looking at that, I kind of see where the path was. And I don't just have this podcast, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I also do a podcast with a friend of mine, which is on pause. Season 1 is already over, but it's focused on cycling. So if you're interested in cycling, it's Last Wheel Cycling. It's with myself and one of my good friends, Abdul. And you can find us on YouTube as well as any other podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And when it comes to the podcast, I have those ideas, and you can do batch recording. So I've definitely done batch recording for Last Wheel Cycling. I did maybe one batch for the Elev8 Project. And batch recording is sometimes an episode is maybe 15 minutes long. And so I can switch to the second topic and spend 30 minutes and 40 minutes on that topic. And then now I'm good for 2 weeks, because I do want that consistency of having one a week. So that's one way to stay consistent in creating, is batch recording. And you can do that with regular videos as well, especially if you're doing a series. So for instance, I did a short little series on the Insta360 Go Ultra. I did the review, and then I did another video, follow-up video, actually based on a question from one of the comments. And then I'm transitioning to the Insta360 X5. So if you're interested in those cameras, the Insta360 Go Ultra is already live on my YouTube account, and the Insta360 X5 will be releasing, I believe that will be next month or in early 2026. There's going to be like not a mini series, but there's going to be some content based on that camera. So I use Notion as my content calendar, my planner, and I essentially have at least 3 to 4 ready to go ideas to record in 3 pillars when it comes to video. 1, content creation, 2, productivity, and 3, gear reviews, tech reviews, etc. And live streams, what's really great is whatever comes up that's within the niche. Like right now, Black Friday is around the corner. So at the time of this release should be 1 week and a bit that will be Black Friday. So there's going to be a few live streams, talking about different types of pieces of equipment that I think will be on sale. So we'll be talking about the Rode Wireless Pro for sure, the Insta360 Go Ultra, the Stream Deck that I use, the mics that I use. And if you like the quality, like right now, this is the Shure SM7B through the Rodecaster Duo. If you like that audio and you like that setup and not pay what I paid for it and get it at a discount, it's going to be great to get these pieces at a deal. One of the best deals of the year, Black Friday and Boxing Week, I think are going to be the best time to purchase some of these devices that are regularly very, very expensive. I mean, even when it comes to camera gear, A7 IV, FX30, I have an FX3. Those are going to be some staples if you're a content creator and you're looking to create content on YouTube and taking it a little bit more serious than just a hobby. And that will be ideal. So yeah, creating consistency is also about prioritizing. Family for me is priority number 1, that I'm spending time doing the day-to-day, making sure I'm making the lunches for the kids, picking them up from school, sending them to the extracurricular. So when it comes to my YouTube and my 9 to 5, I want to make sure that I juggle my time where I don't interrupt those, or I work with my partner, with my wife, to ensure that we can balance that out. So prioritizing is number 1. Number 2 is having a content calendar, or having something where you can really think that, hey, these are some ideas. And so you're not really spur of the moment and it's not timed well. There are certain things that, like the video podcast, it doesn't take too much time for me to prep, as long as I have a title and kind of from there, kind of know where I want to take that conversation. The video is where it takes up a lot of time, and I use calendar blocking. So for me, I need a dedicated 2 hours to at least get the first portion of creating content, the video recording of the content. The preparation and the script, if I'm creating, and when I talk about script, it's more of a storyboard. So I kind of create a storyboard and where I know I want for the intro, the shots that I want for the body, and then how I want to end or conclude. Have some sort of conclusion of whatever I'm talking about, regardless if it's content creation, whatever the purpose was for that video, and then for productivity, and then for tech reviews, especially for tech reviews, because a lot of people are wondering, is this the right product or is it not the right product? Is this something that will work for me? And I try to make sure that it's kind of focused on what I'm using it for and how I'm explaining, because what a product may not be good for me is because of the way that I'm using it, versus for you, maybe this might not be the right review because you're using it in a different way. And so I'm sure there's a lot of different reviewers that will review a certain product for a certain purpose. So yeah, creating consistency, you would think it's simple. I think the idea is always simple. I always think about that sometimes, that I can complicate things, especially when it comes to setup. So again, for me, creating consistently is having my cameras pre-set up. So right now I have my camera, my A7 IV here on my desk, which is where I know I'm going to be filming for my live stream, for my Saturday live stream. It's called the Espresso Hour. Again, looks at the back end of my week to week on how revitalizing the channel is going. My podcast, again, this is where it's set up. And then I have my FX30 on a tripod, which is set up for my videos, for my A-roll. And of course, for other shots, that's a little bit different. Those are kind of like moving sets, and I do have to rearrange certain things. That being said, 90% of the challenge is gone. I have a USB-C charger in between my two cameras. The great thing about my Sony cameras, I can plug it in even if it has a dead battery, as long as there's a battery inside, and it will still record. So again, I don't have that friction with dead batteries in that case, and the flexibility of being able to record while it's charging. Time blocking, again, and then just the software I use. I mean, brainstorming, I like just pen to paper. Again, I'll have a book, a pencil, or a pen. I'll write some ideas, and then I'll take those ideas and I'll put them into AI. Again, I'll use Perplexity Pro AI or ChatGPT. Those are the ones that I use to just get some title ideas. And then I can kind of frame my way around what I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, is it showing some fruitful success? Well, let's take a look at the back end of my YouTube channel and just kind of take a look on creating more content has done. So let's take a look at the past 90 days. Again, we're in November. I didn't start my first live stream or video on the channel to help revitalize the channel was on October 2nd. So the beginning of October. So we're like 6 weeks at the time of this release. And we're going to say, so let's say we were around, where were we? I want to say maybe 2,728, say 28 subscribers at that time. Once I started releasing videos, we got a lot of traction from live streams. And we did get a lot of people leave as well, because maybe some of the content is not what they expected. Or again, just one of those things, a lot of people will take a look and then, do I watch this person anymore? Has there been any new content? And so it had some ups and downs. That being said, we're sitting today at 2,741 subscribers. And what I'm seeing here is for watch time hours, we're definitely increasing week by week, which is really, really good. I mean, I don't expect to get 4,000 watch overs overnight. I have to create the new content to revitalize the channel and have YouTube pull my content in front of the right people. Views looks like, so let's say 90 days ago was averaging around 16,000 views. And if I take a look at the last 28 days, we are at like 5,000 views per month. So so we're trending really, really well. If I take a look at the past year, so in November 2024, probably averaging 1,000 views. So I think revitalizing, creating content is important. Is the 3 types of content hurting the channel? We'll see longer and longer that we go. I think the goal for this episode is more so, how do we create consistency, creating consistency? I think the next step is gathering the data and creating more of the content that people want to watch and that continue to view. Again, it's not me that judges my videos. And regardless if I think it's a really good video, it's the viewers, it's you that decide if it's a good video or not. So creating consistency can be simple on thought. It's more of execution. Try not to complicate it, and because you're always going to have some ideas and you're going to think about, what should I do first? What's going to work? And I think in the beginning, if you're just starting your channel, just record, just produce something. For me, revitalizing the channel is almost the same mindset. I'm not being very strategic on the content that in the order that I'm releasing. So for instance, if I start with the Insta360 Go Ultra, every other video after that, till I'm done the series, should be releasing Insta360 Go Ultra, but I didn't. I did talk about that in the live stream. I was kind of walking through, it's like, hey, I'm testing this Insta360 Go Ultra. However, when it comes to the video, I released a Rode Wireless Pro video, obviously Insta360 Go Ultra. I created a video on the DJI RS3 Mini. So it's not necessarily any specific series that I'm doing. I'm more so going with the flow just to create content, what feels good, what's done, and then I can release it. No problem. And as things progress and I start building a larger audience, then I'm going to be kind of sifting through the data and see what's popular and create more of what's popular, but also going to be taking a look at comments. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you've got ideas, please leave your ideas and what you think in the comments below. I really appreciate it. I'm really taking a look at the comments as I revitalize to kind of shape what videos to create. They do start in brainstorming because, for instance, I did have a plan. I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then I read a comment. I'm like, wow, okay, people are asking for that now. And I would take that idea, see if it would work. And I'd release that video first versus the other videos that I had ready to go. So creating consistency really is just making sure you're a little bit organized and know when you're free to do things and reduce the amount of friction. So for me, having my mic set up right here on my desk, my camera set up, all these different things, it's just easier for me to sit down, look at my computer screen, take a look at Notion and see the topic. And typically I'll have time pre-recording to get some bullet points about each idea. And I do that during the brainstorming and kind of hit some key points. If there's research that I need to do, obviously I'll do more research before I press record. But here, I have everything set up, press record, and I'm good to go. So, creating consistency, if you needed that, let me know in the comments below. If you found value in this podcast, in this episode, that would be appreciated too. You know what to do. Leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, put a thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all the things. And next week, we'll have another topic. And depending if you put comments, your comment might be our next episode. Thank you so much, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we'll catch you in the next one.